Any other questions, feel free to ask me between the games. Top right-hand side, now a blue Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Oh, this is always a fun one when Clem takes on ShoWTimE. As we get this one ready to go. Okay. So yeah, we got this one up and running. Bit of TVP action. Clem ShoWTimE is always a lot of fun, right? Clem ShoWTimE is always this matchup which has... to be fair, I used to say that Clem ShoWTimE was always this epic back and forth matchup, but actually more recently I'd say that Clem ShoWTimE has been a bit more... Sometimes it does just sort of go out of control and Clem is just like, boom, that 3-0'd you. And ShoWTimE's like, it's okay, I didn't want to be in the ESL finals anyway, you know? That's happened a couple more times lately. Specifically when I feel like the side of ShoWTimE may be getting through, but maybe... yeah, look back at some results. Clem's actually won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's won 8 of their last 10 meetings. That's pretty crazy. ShoWTimE won in a couple of the ESL Open Cup finals, semifinals, but Clem beat him a bunch. They played in like 4, 5 in a row. They just kept getting the same side of the bracket or meeting in the finals. And Clem, like I say, some of these results are like 3-0 Clem ShoWTimE. And then every now and then ShoWTimE 3-1 a Clem. And then Clem 2-1, Clem 3-1. Yeah, in the past, like I say, I feel like last year or so is more like always 3-3, 3-2 or 2-1 and that sort of stuff. More recently, it's been a bit more one-sided every now and again, but still a good match no matter what, right? As we move across the map with this SCV heading down the bottom right to get this going. 8 out of 10 is a lot, it's definitely a pretty good streak. How far does that lead back to? That leads back to... Wow, that's actually just this year. If you actually want to go this year, it's a nice catch on this building starport. This year, it's 9-2 in favor of Clem. They played a lot of these Open Cups and stuff. So yeah, Clem has really got ShoWTimE's number this year so far. I'm actually genuinely surprised about how one-sided that is. Like, I'm not because I've casted a lot of those games and I remember it. Sorry, it's not 9-1. It is 8-2 this year. Sorry, I miscounted. 8-2 this year. 26-10 in maps is what I think is most telling. So on average, it's like 2-1 or 3-1. Kind of in between 2-1 and 3-1. That's actually crazy. Alright, well, let's see what happens. Let's see if ShoWTimE can put up a fight today. He's opening Phoenix. A big catch down here, denying that proxy starport and so on. And it's going to be a big deal. Slowing down the setup of Clem. Now Clem actually goes 3 Hellions, but he's also going to build mines, so he might just run the Hellions by and drop the mines, whereas before he was obviously looking for a Hellion drop. So yeah, I think that's not a bad way of switching it up. He did high ground expand here, and that's maybe the biggest issue of all, is that your CC is obviously later than it's usually meant to be, because Clem was trying to be a little bit more aggressive than usual, factory before expanding and so on. And those little things have definitely worked out in ShoWTimE's favor. So it is going to be a mine drop, and the Hellions looking to run by. Now, ShoWTimE is building Phoenix from the start, and he seems to know that Clem wants to be aggressive, and so he says, well, if you want to be aggressive, Clem, you be aggressive, but just that my Phoenix are ready to deal with anything. Full wall off of Adepts at the front. If the Widow Mines try to come down here to break the wall off, the Phoenix just need to get here in time. He's actually just going to let them slip by. Okay, well, you know what? Doesn't matter too much, because he's just going to push them back of the Phoenix anyway. Okay, now you give up 1 probe, and you are going to be able to kill the Widow Mines. But the Widow Mines going to get eaten by the Phoenix. The Adepts clean it up, and the Phoenix are just going to go hunt down the medevac. Adepts at the front as well, going to run back into the Hellion, so they are going to go down. No success there. Widow Mine does drop, at least eating up a little bit of the Phoenix energy. ShoWTimE sees the medevac, and the medevac's in some serious trouble. And Clem's going to lose everything on this opener, so this was not ideal. He sees the 3rd Nexus, so Clem gets a good idea as to that, the fact that that is happening. I guess next step here from Clem is this kind of Marine Cyclone Viking attack. Oh no, he's going to lose a Viking, isn't he? The Viking goes down already, the Phoenix back away. Clem's going to continue down, but he's kind of getting picked apart right now. I'm not going to lie, this is not quite a... I just set the stage for Clem to dominate with the stats I'm reading out, and ShoWTimE is just like, nope, going to kill this Cyclone as well, thank you very much. A depth count here is going to shade at Marines, and Well, not just that. Clem's gonna type out GG. And this was kind of a brutal game, huh? It was like everything went wrong, really. It's kind of crazy. I want to rewind a little bit. So I was looking at Ligulac a little bit, but this was just racks. You fall off, so you do go for the factory before you expand, and that's why Clem is kind of needing to do damage, because he's already, this is 40 seconds later than usual, so that's why he's already just that little bit behind. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys watched this. I was reading a Ligulac and doing math and stuff, which is really difficult. Yeah, you're in a pretty tough spot. These adepts are going to shade onto your marines at the end, and once those adepts shade on your marines, you don't have any of the mine drop, you speed up the potential Hellion drop, and you slow down the command center by a bit. So it wasn't like super tiny, like crazy tactical change up from Clem, just timings of things change. Stuff like that. Bottom left down side, our blue Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. And in the top right, our red Protoss player is ShoWTimE. Game 2 is going to be like that too, and the most anticipated game of the day is a flop. To be fair, if this series flops, we've already had so many good series today. So if there is a series to flop, if there is a day for a good match that's meant to be good to flop, let it be today. Today's already been great, you know? Now, these replays are live. These are replays, but they were casted. They were played a couple hours ago. No one in the world knows these results or anything. We casted this. We let the players play 2 matches at a time, so that they don't have to spend as much time waiting around and hanging around and stuff. So the players can just play, be done with their games, and then we get to cast and do a longer stream. So it's replays, but honestly, like, I still call this live because, in my opinion, it's kind of the same as watching it live. No one knows the results or anything. The games are very fresh. It's not like you're watching old content, you know? Whereas if we're actually casting like replays from an event last week, then people know the results and stuff. Then I feel like it's fair to call it replays. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We have this conversation all the time on the stream, and there'll always be someone else coming along and asking. Double Racks Reaper is a bit of fun, isn't it? Something a bit different here. We're going to expand. It's fun because it's also a mind game on the last game. So to actually talk a bit more about the setup, kind of good that we double-checked what happened last game early. Because what actually happened was you get set up, he walled off, right? And he walled off again this time, so now ShoWTimE's already like, are you trying to do the same thing again? Are you trying to play a similar setup against me? No, it's completely different because it's going to be a multi-Reaper opening that leads into a pretty quick expand. So it's just one of those things where ShoWTimE, this probe went scouting around maybe a lot more than it usually would have done because he really wanted to try and figure out what was going on. And now he's still a little afraid maybe as to what exactly happens. So yeah, it's a cool little play on, building up on what happened in the last game as well, using the previous knowledge of what happened in the series to kind of, again, scare your opponent, use it against your opponent. And that's always one of the coolest things about watching these top guys play in these in these series, when they kind of do stuff like this. And every game isn't just the same as the last because, the next game is based on how the last one went. 2 Reapers trade out for Stalk. I don't want to... It's not a bad trade. It's just not a good trade. Right? Yeah. It's not terrible, but I don't think it's like, wow. Like, you obviously build 2 racks initially. CC comes in a little bit late because of it. You kill a Stalk. I don't think it's that great for Clem. Obviously, I think getting a couple of probes might have been a bit better, but he probably could have gotten a couple of probes with three Reapers there, right? Easily. For the amount of shots you have to get off on a Stalker? Absolutely, I think. Comes back around into the center. Blink is coming up and just going to be seen on sentry. Coming on through. Zealot coming in. And the robotics facility from ShoWTimE setting up on the natural expansion. If it's not good, it has to be bad. I just think it's kind of neutral. I don't think Clem's going to be like far behind because he only got a Stalker here. I don't think ShoWTimE cares he lost a Stalker, he killed 2 Reapers. Like, I don't think ShoWTimE's like, nice, the big trade. I don't think like Clem's devastated. You know what I mean? Like, I think everyone's pretty just neutral about the fact of what happened here. And the thing is with the speed of a CC after 2 racks, so 2 racks as an opening with Reapers is actually not as bad as when you kind of go factory and starport and stuff, I feel like, before CC. Because the CC is still pretty quick in this scenario. And also the 2 racks then leads you into a very quick stim, so you actually have the bio upgrades a little bit faster than usual. So there's another benefit to having the double rack set up early in the game. Because then you're still producing these units early that are going to help you in the mid game a little more. So while Clem maybe didn't do any damage with the Reapers to like a huge extent, it still set him up to be in a better position with this army now. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we've not really seen the full effect of having opened the 2 racks Reaper yet, you know? So let's see what the follow-up looks like. Now, if Clem does nothing at all with this attack, I'm with you guys that this wasn't pretty for Clem. Like I said, I didn't think it was good for Clem necessarily either. I just didn't think it was like devastatingly bad. I feel like I'm more getting in an argument with myself again, aren't I? Okay, shut up, Wardy. Let's see how this goes. Sentries on the ramp should mean nothing happens here, right? Clem sees the army. He could drop up into the main. He's got double medevacs. He's seen this observer, maybe? No? Nope. Thought he was turning around for it, but he's just going to back it up. Okay, nothing achieved. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the overall position of things, right? You're down 9 workers. You know, your Nexus is going to finish up now as ShoWTimE, so it's not exactly like he went for the fastest Nexus, but he has, of course, gone for Colossus. Clem's 3rd CC is in position. I think Clem could maybe be like 1 or 2 workers further towards his opponent. I think that's the biggest difference right now. Fortifying himself would be some good content. Oh, you should see me cast my own ladder games. I think that was some of the best content we ever did. Just going over my own ladder game and just laughing at how horrendous it was. It was, I really should have, like, clipped that or voted it or something, because it was genuinely 10 out of 10. Looking back. Alright, Bioforce is, gonna try and push through again. Difficult when the Colossi are already up in position. You see a couple more bio units setting up as well. As we get this ready to go. How did he see the Observer? Well, I think he knew there was an Observer somewhat lurking around his army. He might have, when he turned before, he might not have had a scan ready. So it might just have been a case of keeping an eye on it and waiting to have a scan. You can see observers when they're still as well. You know, sometimes a lot of players go like this when they're moving around the map to try and just see if they can see the blur. It's not super crazy. Happens a fair amount. These guys are pretty good, you know. Hey, this is going to be pretty good for Clem. I like this multi-prong. He's kind of separated the Colossus, and one Colossus on each side isn't really doing too much to like any set of Marines, right? So like both bio armies are taking damage, but neither are taking like really deadly damage because each one is only fighting against the one Colossus of Splash. So it actually worked pretty well for Clem. He had 3 Colossi now, and maybe Clem can't do much more, but not a bad little trade up to that high ground. It's going to be seen at Temple Archives, just dropping down in the main base. If you guys ever want to watch a game that was really like incredible for Observer Sniper, you need to watch Tasia versus Rain. It was on, I want to say it was on Whirlwind in like 2014 or something, and it was in like a WCS season finals or something. I think it was like season 2 or so. I don't know, but it was like Rain Tasia, and it was the game on Whirlwind, I believe, and in like a 25-minute game, Tasia sniped something like 40 observers. It was honestly ridiculous. It's one of the most ridiculous games. Like, he's just like walking around the map, scanning observers like here, there, and like it was actually insane. And especially because Rain was known as a super defensive Protoss that really was so good at having map vision, and Tasia just took it away from him. And Rain's like, no, you can't do that. And Tasia's like, yes, I can. And then Rain rebuilt his vision. He got taken away again. It was kind of incredible. Bioforce really just pressing to the front. There's no damage output for ShoWTimE. He's got his opponent busy on the left side as well. Probes pulled away. Army not really kind of coming back in from that left side either, as that is going to be Clem picking off the Robo and getting out of there. There was just not the damage needed on the right side, and the The attack on the left never really showed up, so ShoWTimE just had units out of position for no reason. He saved this probe line from the Widow Mine drop, sure, but this was definitely not a good trade for ShoWTimE at all. You can see the that army size just dropping big time. Not pretty. Not pretty. You can see our army of ShoWTimE back around the left-hand side. Marine and Marauder on the watchtower. Obviously, that'll get taken down as ShoWTimE cleans up a little bit of Clem's map control. Cleans up a bit of his map vision here. You guys think the sound is very low? Really? I feel like the sound is blasting today. The sound is just the same as it always is on my stream. I mean, I can hear my voice volume at about the same level as the game sounds. It's a little low. There you go. I shoved it up a little bit. A couple of Zerds is going to lift up in the prism. You know, game sound is one of those things that you should never really... I realized this recently, that actually everyone just likes different levels of game sound. I think, well, sometimes when I think game sound is way too high, and I'm like, geez, I gotta like compete to fit. I've got to focus on listening to the caster. Because the game sounds like the same volume as them. And loads of people are like, yeah, it's brilliant. I'm like, what? No. It's almost like there's people that have different preferences. What a crazy world we live in. Fight's about to happen on the left-hand side. It's going to be seen. Clem's going to back away from this. He is getting up to a Viking force against just 2 Colossi. Obviously, the Disruptors have started build. EMPs are going to come down. The Archon's not dead yet. That Disruptor lands dead center. As Clem split on the left and the right. The Vikings are just gone. I'm going to have to rewind this fight. Hang on a second. Because Clem's pushing forward as though he's won the fight. But I almost feel like nothing about this fight actually went good for Clem. Maybe he just had only 4 Vikings in this fight. Now he kills the Prism. So I think he is actually just going to push through to win this. But I'm not actually convinced. Wow, this fight was kind of weird. So this caught me off guard big time, actually. Let's see if this Disruptor can change anything, as ShoWTimE's going to be losing the 4th base in a moment or two. The EMP is going down. Stalker's being picked away. Zald's being picked off. It's going to be GG. Clem is going to take game number 2 and tie this up 1-1. I want to go back and look at this fight quickly, guys. Just slow it down a little bit, because maybe I'm just looking at the wrong place at the wrong time. This is too late in the fight. So this fight, there's actually only 5 Vikings in the army. Okay, 6 Vikings in the army. Obviously, they fly over Archons, so they get melted. Is I assume what happens. So we move in. This is where the fight starts in a moment. We split. We do have 4 ghosts. We have a good amount of EMPs. Stalker's blink. The Archons are going to melt these Vikings, huh? So the Vikings go down really quickly. The Vikings kind of get one of the Colossi low. They just go down quick. But then there's no Zealots left over. And the EMPs obviously helped a lot with that. Then once the Zealots are gone, these Archons are all pretty low as well. And Clem just busts through. This Disruptor shot down here. Beautiful split down there. Jeez, I didn't see that the first time. This Disruptor shot over here hit, but that one was beautifully dodged. And once the Archons are gone because they were low shields, you just bust on through and there's no reinforcements. The Zealot Warp isn't ready. And that's just game. Wow. What a fight from Clem. Sometimes worth just looking. Back to modern day Starcraft 2, as we have in the bottom right hand side, our blue Terran player. There's going to be Team Liquid's Clem. Taking on the bottom left-hand side, Red Protoss, it is ShoWTimE. We're 1-1 tied up in this series as we have one final map to decide. He's going to pick up this win. I can't even remember where these guys are at in this group anymore. This day has been kind of long. What is this group looking like? Let's give you an update. So, here Marine is actually done with his matches. I didn't realize here Marine is done with his matches, but he's 8-1. Jeez, here Marine, calm down. I didn't realize here Marine went 8-1 in this group. Oh my goodness. ShoWTimE is going to have one more match after this. He's currently 6-1, sorry. Clem is 4-1. I think, in theory, Oh, Reyno's 2-1 as well. Oh, geez, man. Hero Marine 8-1, though. That's actually kind of ridiculous for the group standings. We'll talk a bit more about this when we wrap up for the day. We'll have a couple more results to talk about and talk about the upcoming matches still to be played and stuff as well and how they might affect things. It just didn't quite click in my head that Hero Marines finished his games, you know? That's bonkers. Alright. On Blackburn, let's see how this TVP plays itself out over the next couple of minutes at least, as we do have our SCV is currently playing Hunt Down the Probe. So robot is fixing up ShoWTimE's main base. Just wants to make sure none of the minerals and gas that he mines leaks out. Not sure what this is. I guess they're playing on a space station that's in motion. But why is it only moving on two sides? Why isn't it moving on Clem's side? Oh, is it? And it's just too dark to see? Oh, it is, yeah. No, I'm just being dumb. Never mind me. I'm asking questions that don't need to be asked. This is what happens 10 hours into the stream, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, Reaper comes on through. Just gonna go and nibble up at the pylon here to start. $8-1G Gabe to spell out Big Gabe. I love it. Alright, Reaper gonna hop back up in toward the main base. We do have, just lots of racks here from Clem as the opening, so a bio-heavy style from our boy Clem. As this Reaper goes into the main, puts a couple shots out, nothing too major just yet. Just gonna come back around, a little bit of damage being done to a probe or two, nothing again to really shout about just yet. As we have our warp gate coming up on the cybercore. Now, stim back building here as well from Clem. A couple of additional Marines continuing through another tech lab on the barracks. All of this going to rally out toward the bunker. SCVs. I keep on producing. Mula 2 going to drop down as well. And just seeing our Adept of ShoWTimE continues across to the far right-hand side. So away we go with this for now. These few Marines pop out of the bunker. The other Adept going to move up this ramp. These couple of depots are going to lower themselves, and again, additional Marine production continuing. Combat shield, stim pack, all the good stuff continues on in. As we are going to be seeing now a couple of SCVs continuing to come on through. Phoenix obviously shows us that ShoWTimE wants to be a bit more defensive this game again. At least he is going to come through and scout, though. And I think when you don't hold the Phoenix back and you scout, it's one of the best things you can do when you're up against 3 racks, because it changes how you want to play this. You don't want to go too heavy on the Phoenix. You want to cut them a little earlier than if you're just going to go and kind of mass them up. Because, hey, if he's just building Hellions and Widow Mines and Medivacs, more Phoenix will just mean more lifts, which will just mean quicker shutdowns, and you defend all of that no problem. In this case, you can't go too heavy on the Phoenix, because then you don't have any way to actually shut down this bio army. So you've got to be a little bit careful about it, you know? You've got to be a little bit more cautious on that. Mortal going to Chrono Boost out of the Robo. Battery going to finish up in the natural expansion. And again, the combat shields, the stim pack, all of this still coming through. With the +1 attack upgrade coming in as well. It's getting that +1 attack from the engineering bay. I mean, here comes the first push from Clem. ShoWTimE's still building Phoenix, in fairness, so I'm a little wrong, but man, I feel like I've got deja vu. Didn't someone just do this the other day and they just died? It was Patience, right? He kept building Phoenix against Clem. He used the lifts on SCVs, and then Clem just showed up and killed him. In this case, maybe there's no way, right? I mean, I guess you don't want to run up the ramp. The super battery is a bit too scary. So yeah, I guess maybe you don't go for this right now as Clem. But he's going to hold down the bottom of the ramp, and he's got a force that's going to stop you from taking a third base for a while. So good on ShoWTimE to have a Robo Bay up. That's definitely going to aid him here. As Clem just splits it out. Making sure he's got a good concave of units here, just in case this army of ShoWTimE tries to move down the ramp. There's something so satisfying about these Marines. They kind of sat in rows and stuff. They look kind of cool. And go. Going to move down. ShoWTimE feels like he has enough to fight this. Clem's going to get to the high ground, turn and stem maybe at some point, or what's the plan? Now he's going to turn and stem as a Phoenix starts to lift. Of course, he can also stem and run, which is now apparently the plan. Going to turn for a Phoenix that goes a bit too far forward. And Clem maybe goes a bit too far forward towards those units. Adepts are going to shade for him. And his army, uh-oh, these Marines are going to stem through a slow zone. Adepts kind of catch him. Okay, fortunately, Adepts finished their shade before the slow zone, because otherwise they might have been able to stay on top. Adepts just, obviously slow. Shades get slowed as well, but obviously the Adept shades are faster. Clem just killed this army. Maybe ShoWTimE ran a bit too far forward, because reinforcements showing up have cleaned out everything. Well, that ain't pretty. You know, it's really tempting, obviously, to get all those Marines, but when Clem's still pumping out 3 racks of unit production, you've not reinforced in a hot minute. But Clem absolutely hasn't reinforced in a long time, because he's just been sat over here. So that chunk of reinforcements definitely made this something that you were, maybe not quite expecting to see right there. Well, that was ShoWTimE just a bit too over aggro. I kind of felt like he had the chance to take down a lot of units. He just misjudged the situation now. Well, Clem's in this sort of position where you can pressure and keep up the pressure. And there's no super battery available just yet on this third. So that may be something that you can use to your advantage here. Maybe ShoWTimE could have lifted the Marauders, then you just disable the real damage against the Colossus, though. Because our first siege tank is going to show up, and it's going to start covering just the front. Doesn't really reach the ramp or anything in particular. Phoenix still hanging around, shot off onto the medevac, the bio army. Hold him back just a little bit. We're kind of going to his kind of like, you want to fight, you want to go, what you want to do. These guys checking each other out, huh? And Clem's got a couple of SCVs over here. He's going to start turreting up. What's he going to turret? Okay, for some reason he unsieged the tank. He's going to re-siege it now. This position doesn't do anything immediately. But what you do get from this is you're going to start building forward from this, and I think that's where you can start to get some value here as Clem, because this position immediately doesn't do much. If this position helps you take this position, then you cover the ramp. Now you cover the ramp, and you can take this position. Now you're talking about a real hard containing your opponent. That was I think, an accidental stem from Clem. Full army stem for zero purpose. Nice Phoenix lift does deny the building missile turret. Let's see ShoWTimE trying to do something about this position. Comes down the ramp at least, maybe thinking about engaging into it. Still building Phoenix. Charge will be done soon. I've got to imagine Charge has got to be part of the reason you're going to decide to commit into this fight. Love the tanks next to the bunkers, minimizing the damage that can be done, or the surround potential from Zealots. Obviously, Clem knows there's no reason for Blink Stalkers in this game because of the Phoenix. You don't need drop defense, so typically it is going to be Zealots. So Zealots is what he's kind of preparing for with this setup. Here we go. Is ShoWTimE going to pull the trigger? Yes, he is. He's going to run in for this tank. Firing bunker going to go down. Bio army still pushing through. The rest of these Zealots continue to fall. All of these tanks taking a lot of shots as we're going to stim on through this. These Colossi going to die as well. And everything at ShoWTimE just fell apart. Jeez, man. Honestly, sometimes these fights look so one-sided from Clem, and it's just like, how do you make it look so simple? How do you make it look so easy? Clem will go to 5-1. ShoWTimE will drop down to 6-2. Still a great score for ShoWTimE. But of course, we're talking about the potential of finishing top 2 to go to the freaking winner bracket of the playoffs. It's going to be a real race up at the top there. I think ShoWTimE is potentially out of contention now, unless Clem loses to somebody and Reyno loses to someone else. Then it comes down to map score. It's got to get a little bit wild. Let's just put it that way. It's got to get a little crazy. Alrighty, friends. Well, up next, you guys will be happy to know that we have got the, I'm still in the in-game screen. Okay, sorry, I'm just talking about maps. Didn't take a